Good morning, everybody. Good Wednesday morning, hump day. So glad you're out there tuned in to Mornings in Meridian.
Who the hell is that?
Well, what? Now, watch your language there, son.
Language? I'll show you language.
Wow. Welcome, everybody. We're glad you're out there tuned in to 102.1 FM. Of course, you can hear us on all those other great little streaming devices you got there, Facebook and all that other kind of stuff. So thank you for joining us. I'm Roger B. back from, well, a little workcation. Yes, a little business travel, a little bit of pleasure travel, all that good stuff there. Back with you. I'm happy to be here. And thank you for allowing my key to still fit the door. My main man and my back is that.
Ain't my call.
if it is actually.
You can change the locks.
You could probably influence it a lot.
We'll start making you crawl through the window to get in here.
Great idea. I've had to do that before.
That'd be fun to watch.
Billy Jack used to lock the door on me. I had to crawl in the window there.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so yeah, good to see you guys. Speaking of guys, say hi to, here he is, Charles Frazier.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Tell you what, I wish I could tell you guys I missed you.
Yeah,
I really
could say the same match.
Oh, man. Well,
You missed a lot.
well, I probably did. And, it's just one of those things. We went down to Central Florida for a conference, and then I took a little time to swing down to the Keys and see the family and then back up here. Left on the tail end of one hurricane.
Yeah, another one's brewing. It's
And
coming.
we left. It was actually the very morning after Helena came ashore that we took off from Meridian early that morning and flew down to Orlando area, Polk County, Florida. And boy, it was clear air and just had a nice, big, strong tailwind, as you can imagine, from the circular motion of that hurricane. But didn't realize all the devastation that was taking place because after the conference that we were at in Orlando was over, we were supposed to go to Nashville to visit friends for a few days and come back here. Well, I changed all that.
I mean, I've seen a correlation here. You know, every time you travel somewhere, there's a storm. I mean,
Really?
every time you're supposed to go to Nashville, the storm hit Nashville.
Storm
You
hit.
left here, and then Helene hit, and then you left Florida, and now
Keys. Went to the Keys.
Florida doesn't want you back. They're like, please don't come again. Stay away. Keep
No,
that
you just have to know
persona
you
non grata.
just got to know how to travel Florida during the hurricane
All right.
season. Just know when to get in.
So
when
you're
to get
not
out.
the cause, is my
No,
question.
I'm not
Are
the
you
cause.
sure?
Not the
All
cause.
right. Okey-dokey.
But yes,
Well, fine.
key, and of course they're expecting some, a little bit of storm surge, but only like 1 to 3 so for now. So 1 to 3 feet. So
Well,
we'll
they're
see what
saying
happens.
right now that, I mean, I know it's sitting out there as a 5 right now, but they are expecting it to, I think right now, category 5, 4, it doesn't really matter. It's just the mere size of the storm.
Yeah.
It's just so large.
And Katrina was at 3, I believe. When it
Yeah.
hit. So, the pressure is so low, it's about 9. Well, it got down to about 902, which was top 4 or 5 storms in the Gulf. But I think it's now at maybe 925, which is still very low.
Did you see the hurricane hunters that went inside the storm? They were in the plane or whatever, and one of them said, "Good God," because the plane was just.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think any of them have seen that. So
One
it's-
thing I did not do is go into the eye of the storm. That's for sure.
All right.
I did not do that. But surprisingly enough, Friday morning, right after the storm came through, it was pleasant weather all the way down. You could see along the Florida coast where it went ashore. We flew right over where it had gone ashore for hours before. Of course, that's always kind of a low, swampy part of Florida anyway, that Big Bend area. But you could see a lot of water inland that hadn't receded yet, and then you fly over these little communities like Keaton Beach and Steenhatchee and all these, and you see, okay, there's a roof, there's not a roof, there's not a roof, there's a roof, there's not a roof, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's a major issue down there.
Next time you see all the blue roofs. Next time you
Yeah, you see a lot of that when you fly to a certain time. So we'll probably see a lot of that after this one goes across all the way across Florida.
Now, we did have some just kind of local interest. We did have some evacuees in
We did,
the restaurant. So I don't know. I hadn't talked to the hotels to see what kind of occupancy rate they're looking at from evacuees, but I'll bet that there's a few sprinkled around. That's part of Central Florida is so populated. I mean, the villages are there, and of course all of Orlando, and so they don't really have. They can't go south. They could, I suppose, but you don't want to be stuck down there.
Right.
Can't go north into Georgia and North Carolina because of the destruction from Helene.
Yeah.
And so really their option is to go west, Houston, Memphis, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, New Orleans, or Meridian. So
if people got out of Florida in time this time, they probably have some more of this because that's a lot of evacuation out of the central I-4 corridor there.
Huge. And of course, 75 of them is just still a parking lot.
So, yeah, I'll be checking on family tonight, tomorrow down there because I have family that we just visited inland. And, of course, family down in the Keys will be okay because that storm is that nice north march that they predict. It's amazing.
And they're saying tonight at some point is when it's going to make landfall. And you have to remember, too, they're saying around right now, if it takes a little wobble, I mean, it might go a little more north, but still they're saying probably between Tampa and Fort Myers. And remember, Fort Myers and that area, Tampa Bay, they obviously with storms heard from Helene already. Other hurricanes in the past. Now they got this.
Ian was a devastating one not long ago, and now this. So they're beginning to wonder, maybe we shouldn't have bought this beachfront real estate after all.
Right. How's your look out this?
601 45 91 91 talk line. We have a caller standing by. Let's go there right now. Welcome to our show.
Is this the main college department?
Today.
You want to know the window and open it?
I just want to know where Jim Cantori is right now.
Yeah, stay away from him.
Away from that guy.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Weather Channel, but I would be willing to bet you that he's somewhere around St. Petersburg.
He's in Tampa.
Yeah.
He was this morning anyway.
I got a niece and mom, friends out Fort Myers on the West Coast. But Roger, would you do me a favor?
What can I do for you?
Would you post your travel agenda where I can plan my trips in the opposite direction?
Sure. Next one, I've got to be out of town on this be Friday. A week from Friday.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, just let me know where you're going. If you're going in from and coming out before, I just kind of.
Well, this will be another trip to Central Florida. So go see your friends in Florida.
No Central Florida.
Oh,
Head west.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
But no, you said friends in Fort Myers. Are they out near the Centerville area or the inland somewhat?
Well, the inland a little.
Yeah, that's good.
But that storm surge.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it seems the projected path is shifted to the south.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah, and anyway, so you got 10 folks in the Keys.
10 folks in the Keys. There's a reality show if I've ever heard one. There you go. 10 folks in the Keys.
I thought it'd make a good song.
That's true. Yeah. And spend a couple of days down there just enjoying the area. The rainy is their monsoon time, it looks like.
Yeah.
Y'all are having nice, cool air out here. They were rainy, buggy, and hot. Brought it down. I did.
Yeah. You guys have a great day.
Hey, thanks for the call, and glad to hear you.
Prayers to those who are recovering from Helene.
Mm-hmm.
Prayers to those who are facing Milton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my friends up there, they live just outside of Asheville. Their house was fine, of course. So many properties are fine. It's down near the river and low areas where they got affected, but they were without power, cell phone coverage, water, all that for a couple of days at least.
Well, there's folks still without stuff up there.
Oh yeah. Who would have imagined? Can you imagine interstates being closed into a major city like Asheville?
Well, I mean, and we're talking about some of these thoroughfares, some not necessarily interstates, but going to be closed for years.
Right. Yeah, but they got to rebuild a whole mountainside to put a road on.
Yep.
That's right.
It's amazing.
But anyway, that's tough. You just thoughts and prayers, folks.
Amen.
You guys
Thank you.
And
bye-bye. Thank you for the phone call. You too can be part of the show. 601-485-9191.
we do have the 7 o'clock Milton Advisory, the update from the NHC.
Please, what you got? Please give
well, and so the pressure, central pressure, 915, still really low. You know, it's probably top 10, 15, something like that. Maximum sustained winds at 155. So we're 165, and I think that makes it a strong 4. I don't know that the path has changed much. Let's look at the graphics and see. Yeah, it looks like it's still looking south of Tampa at this point. So, which is a better case scenario than north of Tampa, I think, which would bring all that surge into the bay. But still, it's, you know, obviously a very populated area. There's no good scenario for anybody in the area.
Not anywhere along that coastline, Sarasota upwards. Because you got Amelia Island there, and then the opening to the bay.
Sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So that'll hold. We'll know tomorrow morning show what's going on out there. Let's say just right now, you know, electrical power is important, and that's even in your devices that you drive around and utilize, whether it's a big old diesel truck or a little old golf cart. You can always trust the folks at Battery One Source to help you start something.
Yes, you can. 2618 North Frontage Road, in between exit 152 and 153 is where you'll find the battery experts. John Dufour leads the crew. They've got batteries for every need and description: watches, remote, cell phones, even laptop computers. They have battery tenders, maintainers, handles, and they will test your batteries for free. And if your cell phone's broken, guess what? They got the best cell phone repair guy in the business. That said, bring it in for that quick fix. And of course, as you said, golf cart service and repair. Number one in the county, in the state, probably, for golf cart service and repair. It's the only place to go. 601-693-5100. They're open 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. 2618 North Frontage Road, in between exit 152 and 153. That's Battery One Source. Your one for all things battery.
An amputee by the name, they call him Lieutenant Dan.
I've seen
But
that.
he's down there in Tampa Bay on a 20-foot sailboat, and he's saying that he's not leaving. He says,
I'm not leaving.
if you're on land, you get flooded, but if you're on a boat, it goes up with the water.
Well,
And so he says he's not going anywhere.
he's not wrong.
You let her do. Explain to them why you're deciding to sit down a Category 5, one of the worst hurricanes in Tampa history, out on a 20-foot sailboat in Tampa.
Hard to hear him.
Come out here and get a boat. I came out here and got a boat. And everything that he's been telling me over the last few days, I'm doing the right thing. He's got my back. I'm in good shape. I ain't sweating.
God's his back.
Ride this one out. We got set up the way we know what we're doing. And as long as the water gets rising, we'll be fine.
Will you be wearing a life jacket?
Hell no.
You're going to be able to swim if need be.
Circle.
He's got one arm.
No, we got one leg.
Jam. But swimming, I just go in circles.
So the plan's just to stick it out here?
Yeah. I mean, the water's going to come in. It's going to rise. If you're on land, it's going to flood. You're drowning. I'm in a boat. Boat goes in the water. So even if the boat goes up 100 feet in the air, I'm going to be up 100 feet in the air with the water. So it's really the safest place in the world to be is on my boat. And I got room for one more female.
One more people. How many does he have on there?
It's a party with Lieutenant Dan. He's got a magic leg.
This is a story. This is a story that we have today, and I have real doubts about it being a happy ending tomorrow.
I think he's not factoring the waves.
I don't think
there's
a lot.
He doesn't just like rise gently up. Oh, it's just so nice rising. The wind and the waves.
I ain't wearing no life jacket.
And Doris is not wearing a life
On a 20-foot boat.
He's on a 20-foot boat. Probably one of the largest storms to hit that area in decades. And he's like, "No, I'm not riding this thing out. You gonna put a life jacket on?" No, not nobody.
Swim around in circles. Okay.
So,
I got room for one more female.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Lieutenant Dan.
I think his name is Joe something, but they call him Lieutenant Dan because he has the amputated.
And he's on a boat.
And he's on a boat.
He's got a magic lake.
But I mean, everybody has left that area. It's been mandatory evacuation, but
looks like we said yesterday.
On a sailboat, stay there.
Said yesterday about the mayor of Tampa. Did you hear what he said a day or so ago?
You mean she? Yeah.
Yeah. If you stay, you will die.
If you stay in the evacuated area, you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Write your name on your arm in your Sharpie.
Wow.
You're good. They can identify your body. Yeah. Okay. That's what they said.
Yeah.
And she cool because the mayor of Tampa, she's kind of like, your mother. She's very kind of very matter of fact. Well, if you stay in the places that you've been ordered to evacuate, you're going to die.
You're going to die.
Matter of fact, yeah. Just so you know. Right. Mornings in Meridian, 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How you doing?
I am doing great.
Well, good.
Go, guys. And I just wanted to wish Jeff Buckley a happy 87th birthday today.
Wow. Happy birthday. 87, you say?
87.
Jeff Buckley, of course, Buckley Electric, who he had a son that he brought in along the business and tried to show him a few things and teach him how to run the electrical business. And I guess the old boy did as much as the best he could, but
he married my mother.
Yeah. Well, Jeff,
Make me legal.
he is. Oh no, you're wrong for that. I'm so happy birthday. Please, if he's not listening, or if he is listening, happy birthday, Jeff Buckley. But if he's not, just tell him that we at the radio station said hi and wish him the best.
I'll do it, my friends. Y'all have a good week.
And tell him to bring some of that cake down here.
Yes, sir.
There you go. How about that? I like it when people wish people happy birthdays here.
Days
on the show here. One thing we're going to be talking about today that's a local issue, and this I know that not everybody out there is a landlord, but the city of Meridian is trying to do something like kind of unprecedented, where they will have city inspections of rental properties. And to talk about that, we're going to have a Real Estate Wednesday with Steve Corey coming in from Pickford and Corey, and we're going to be talking about this new law or this new rule. And I don't know if it's actually passed yet or if they're trying to. So he's going to fill us in on that.
Yeah, they're going to pay for inspectors out of the police department, but how's that going to work? I'm just curious.
I think we will learn more about what that's going to entail.
You know what the police budget is now, Roger?
It was 9.6 at one time.
Well, that shows you how long it's been gone.
Oh, well.
Been gone a while. Did they raise the budget while I
Try 12.2, my friend.
12.2 million. I hope that means that they're going to be hiring police officers at a higher rate of pay, and that they're paying the existing police officers that are deserving a higher rate of pay.
Well, hiring more is a big thing, but yes. Wait a minute.
Don't hold your breath. Let it out.
Start in blue. The 9.6 was for the full complement of police officers, which they've not had for years. So, to increase the budget, I don't. Mm-hmm. We would like some answers.
Getting some new drones.
Oh, hey, I like those drones. We'll learn how to fly.
It's not hard.
You'll even
you have to go to school for it, though.
You'll even get a certificate and a badge.
Really?
Yes. What I heard.
That drone pilot. Right. Get like
flash your ID.
Get a little captain's hat.
It's a deal. That's all.
Ladies and gentlemen, where the drone is about to depart. Oh,
Captain Fraser behind the
Oh, mercy.
The whole bed.
But no, that's 12, kind of
12.2. Yeah, that's the new budget there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, maybe that's where they can get the money. Then maybe that's for the inspectors to go in there and see if you're maintaining.
Honestly, those should be self-sufficient. So if you get code violations, whatever that is, then the fines that would be collected from that should pay for the inspectors. You would think.
Well, and maybe I'm not a huge land. I don't have a lot of properties. Let's put it that way. But I got a couple out there that it's kind of like, all right, I want to know what's going to happen with the city coming in and start to say, okay, uh, here's what you're doing wrong and all this, and then they start writing up a list of whatever, and off you go. The market has always been pretty good at driving the rental. The rental market has been driven by a natural process for a long, long time. Plus, you have your normal billing code that you do have to adhere to and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting information today. Just want to let you know that.
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
In the meantime, more interesting information is where you get your business supplies. I want you to know that Charles Fraser has it down pat.
I don't know about down pat, but I do have it down with Southern Business Supply because it's the only place I go to get my business supplies. If they're locally family owned and operated for 30 years. They've been in business a long time. Billy Adam Calvert and his family are just doing a fantastic job. What I do is every Monday morning, I look at all the supplies that I'm going to need for that week, whether that's some pens, paper clips, staples. Yes, indeed. I always need those. I don't know why. They just disappear all the time. Filing cabinet, any of that stuff that I need for my office, I just go online, southernbusinesssupply.com. I order that, and then it's delivered to my office the next day.
Right to your door.
Right to my door. You can't beat that. They can bring it actually all the way back to the office if I ask.
You'll let them in? And
I will let them in.
Okay, very nice. That works out real good.
Or you can call them at 614-885-2447 or go see them at their wonderful showroom at 5685 Dale Drive. They've got all kinds of office furniture available there as well that they'll bring to your office. You can't beat that. SouthernBusinessSupply.com. When you buy local, your money stays here. Say no to the big box stores and yes to SouthernBusinessSupply.com.
All right, Steve Corey is in the house. When we come back, we'll talk about what your city is trying to do to you.
250 miles
Men at work. That's what we are right here at Mornings at Meridian. We are at work. Yes, I'm back at work. For after being away a little bit. Roger here along with Rob Atkinson.
Good morning.
Of course, Rob been driving this ship. Thanks for doing that, sir. Thanks for keeping it afloat. You might want to help Lieutenant Dan down at Tampa Bay.
We used a lot of super glue, duct tape, and everything else. But we made it.
He's going to need some help down in Tampa Bay, keeping that 20-foot sailboat.
Well, he just got to fend for himself. I'm just sorry.
Yeah,
get his women to help him.
Yeah, probably.
I don't. Yeah.
He'll probably come ashore and then it'll probably dry out by the time he makes it to Orlando.
Now, he did say he had room for one more.
He did.
So they're kind of suggesting that there's either at least one there now. So
it's a Lieutenant Dan party.
Yeah. Right.
That's an old movement. Yeah, riding out the storm. That's
it's gonna be the last boat party ever.
That's the song I've got to find. Riding out the storm. There we go.
Anybody want to be on a cruise in the Gulf right now?
Oh no!
My daughter's on a cruise right
Oh no!
She's not in the Gulf though.
Yes, they got south of
the
storm.
Well, I'm proof that you can get south of a storm and do okay with that in an aircraft. I don't know about boats, but aircraft can do that. Come around behind it, sneak up behind it on the dry side. That's right. You got to be on the dry side. Anyway, glad you're out there, folks. Want you to be part of the show, but right now we're going to be having a visit with Mr. Corey about our real estate situation. It's Real Estate Wednesday here at Mornings in Meridian, and he's got some interesting information. City Meridian government coming to your rescue. All right.
From the government, I'm here to help.
That's how beat me to it. Ronald Reagan. The scariest word in the English language. I'm from the government. I'm here to help.
Oh boy. Mr. Corey, how you doing?
We're doing good.
You're looking good. Looking good. I don't know why you're playing around with real estate up here in Meridian, Mississippi. I was down in Cudjoe Key, Florida, the Florida Keys, and saw a RV spot.
Yeah.
This is a place where you can park your RV and your truck that pulls it, the trailer, and that's available for the low price of $260,000.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah. So, what are you doing?
If only.
What are you doing up here?
But, sometimes I can ask myself that. But
can you believe that? Can you believe that?
I'm one of those, I'd like to say, wise real estate agent. I know the market I'm in.
There you go.
I'd be a fish out of water down there.
Fish out of water like that in the Keys.
So I'd stay what I know.
Well, I was just playing around one day. I was Zillow. I said, "What is this? I don't know what this is for $260,000. What is this?" I clicked on it. RV spot.
One spot, like 120 square feet.
Yeah. Don't forget your HOA fees and everything that goes along with it.
It's a bargain. They took my house
and the RV.
Wait a minute, trade there, Eddie.
Yeah, right.
I bet you're surprised. I could be more surprised if I woke up in the morning and my head's over the carpet.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Mr. Corey, glad you're here, of course. And let's get into the topic of the morning about the proposal. And is this still just a proposal, or is this now law for the city of Meridian that there's going to be an inspector for rental properties?
Unless they have passed it in the last couple of days, it's still in the works. It is a proposed
there was
rental house ordinance
last week. I don't know if it was on the docket or not. Talk about
about 3 weeks ago. The realtor board here was made aware that there was a rental ordinance in the works. We weren't made aware of it. Read about it in the newspaper.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, we're starting to go, what's going on here? One of the city council folks sent us the proposed ordinance, and there was a lot in there that we needed to figure out, because our thing is, we want to make sure any law that's passed from the board realtor standpoint is that it's not going to do anything to upset the balance of rental properties that are out there. We have a shortage of rental properties, and rents have gone up since COVID. A lot of folks during COVID sold off their rentals because prices of properties went up. I'm kind of getting tired of my rentals, or never really wanted to rent. Market was slower at one time, and so now when things go up, sell them off. So a lot of rentals, landlords, property owners sold off their properties during COVID. So we're still kind of fighting a shortage of rentals. So we, the realtor board here, Mississippi Realtors, started investigating. We went to one of the work sessions, and we were told flat out by the city council, we are going to pass an ordinance. But they did postpone it at that time and told us to get with the community development and code enforcement office to have some meetings and see if, make sure we all knew what was in the ordinance, what everybody's concerns were on both sides of the table.
Well, in
this case, yes.
How about that?
And the big concern for the city, and it is a legitimate concern, is that we have a lot of properties out there. Nobody knows how many rentals are out there. Our Meridian Board of Realtors office board, we probably represent probably pushing 500 properties. Well, there's thousands out there. A lot of folks have numerous properties on their own. They handle them on their own. They don't go through any real estate agent. And I've spoken with somebody that has over 100. A couple other agents brought some folks to the work session with the city that had 100 or more. So there are people out there that have lots of rental property.
Sure.
So everybody is just learning that there's an ordinance here, and the city's concern is they get complaints all the time about slum properties falling apart. Folks driving down the street see houses that are falling apart, and so they have to go investigate. And they have properties that they know are rentals that they're getting complaints on. They don't know how to get in touch with the owners, and they have already on the books codes and ordinances where they can go investigate if there's a legit problem going on.
Okay, so you make a point there. There is existing laws with existing codes that need to be enforced. So if we're not able to contact the owner of the property, or we're having a hard time enforcing existing codes and laws, why is this new and better, longer list of codes? How is that going to go?
Well, the first thing on their list is they want to set up a registry, and every rental property owner to register their properties so they can know who the owner is.
So to do that, they would have to get in touch with that owner that they say they can't get in touch with. I'm trying to find the logic here, Steve. I'm hoping maybe you can talk to somebody who can help us find
I was on a small committee of realtors, brokers, property managers, property owners that we met with 4 or 5 of the city officials last week. Yeah. And it was a very good meeting. But that's the biggest problem is who to get in touch with in a timely manner, because they're like me. If I'm investigating a property that is out there, that somebody's saying, "Hey, do you know who owns this? It's adjacent to my property. I'd like to buy it." Like nobody's been in the house for so long. We're going to check public records, writing letters to the address. You're doing everything that takes time. And so the city's trying to figure out how can we get a registry set up. And there's not going to be, they're still going to, once they pass this ordinance and they set up this law that says you have to register your property, they're still going to have a process getting the out-of-town people.
To me, the answer to that is the tax office. Somebody has to be paying the tax on that property, or it's no longer their property.
Right.
Yeah, looking at the agenda from this past city council meeting, I didn't see anything in the consent agenda or the routine agenda about that. So it may, it's not on the agenda for last week, but it may be coming down.
When we met with them, we asked them we left the meeting that we need to have more meetings.
Right.
And we stressed to the city officials that we met with, we really think y'all need to have like some public meetings on it.
Oh yeah.
And really announce it, because we were 5 realtor brokers that were meeting. We stressed to them, y'all need to really announce, have some meetings where the folks that own several hundred properties that aren't real can come answer all their questions, and we'll help promote it. We all got Facebook pages, social media, all this real estate broker, realtor board. We can really help spread the word. Make sure we pass an ordinance that we can all live with. Before we start talking on air, I was mentioning, as of today, there are 3 rental properties inside the East Mississippi Realtor Board.
3 rental properties
available
on the multiple listings.
on the multiple listing. Now, we like I mentioned earlier, we handle probably about 500 properties. There are hundreds out there by other or a few thousand, we believe, owned by private individuals. Well, we only have 3 available. We've heard private individuals out there say, well, if this ordinance gets too intrusive, I don't need the headache. I've got enough headache with my property. I don't need to have to take time out to meet city code inspectors to go through 100 properties. So if it starts getting too intrusive, too time consuming, I'll just sell all my rental properties off. Well, if we get somebody that goes and sells off 100 properties over a few years, and they start selling them to owner occupants, which is great, but then that takes that many rentals off the rental list.
Yeah.
And then we have even a huge deficit of rentals out there, and we don't need that. Whether it's low income property, middle income property, higher property, whatever, we don't need a shortage of rentals out there. Our office, every real estate office, I can guarantee you, they get calls every week, probably daily. Some of them, you got anything for rent? You got anything for rent? You know, when there's only 3 out there and they're in a price range where it doesn't fit this person that's called in, we've got problems. And so, and you look, we got a military base here. People coming in as a training base. They're coming in every year.
And they don't live on base anymore like some people think.
They have base housing, but they are trying to live off base.
That's right.
And
they look for these properties.
We need to make sure we have housing for our military people coming in and out.
So let me ask you though, legally, don't you have to register your property as an LLC or some other company, some other entity in order to have income?
If you're smart, you will register your property as some sort of LLC or corporation to give you some liability protections and stuff like that. And this is one thing on the city's proposed ordinance. They're going to set up this registry so they know how to get in touch with people in a timely manner. Because like the city said, we've got one property that the tenant has been complaining. They just mail their check off to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And it's got a busted sewage line in the backyard from the rental property to the city sewer. So it's on the property owner to take care of it. And it's just dumping everything out into the yard. They've got to get in touch with that owner to get that corrected.
Sure.
So, and it's just,
we all
a check. We all, legit. It's all legit.
And I can see,
needs to happen.
I can see where
the city cannot track the person down or the company down. And so that's where they need to be able to contact people in a timely manner, get it done. Part of the registry is their proposal is we're going to have to pay $20 to put each property. And we nicely told them, look, why are you charging? If this is to help you, just set up your database. Me as a property owner, I'll come put my name on the list. We're fighting overhead all the time. The city just raised taxes on us. County just raised taxes on us.
That's what I was going to say.
You know, every time we turn around, we get hit with a fee, a charge, you know.
Yeah.
And so to keep rents at a reasonable level, don't charge. Charge if people don't register. Do a penalty. Do a fine. I'm okay with that. But you know, other people might not be. But at least don't charge me just to help you do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And then so they said they would take that one under consideration. We haven't heard back yet. Because our next fear is the folks at the city right now, I believe them. They have the best intent. I've met with them for an hour and a half.
They
45 minutes.
But
what about the next?
They always do, right?
The concern is, what about the next people in those positions, the next administration?
Right. Yep.
You know, the ones that are there now, after I've met with them, I feel very good about what they're trying to do.
Okay.
But it's the next folks that are in charge. We've in previous administrations, we've had severe issues with the water department. The tenant moves out, and the landlord never had the water on in their name.
Mhm.
It's the lease requires it to be in the tenant's name. The tenant leaves. Let's just say they didn't pay their last couple water bills.
Yeah.
The city was they were adamant. It was the landlord that paid it, and they were sending bills out to landlords. At one time, I got a bill a year later on a property we had listed for a local bank foreclosure. Somebody during the process turned some water on, stole some water. It happens quite often. Somebody goes, turns the meter on, steals some water. And I got a
Charles, have you reported any water stolen?
all the time.
Okay.
I got a computer printout sent to me in my office, and y'all owe this water bill. But then later they said, well, that wasn't really a bill, but they sent it to me and basically said, you got to pay this. And I was like, we never had it turned on.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't in your
The
name.
bank never had it turned on.
Mm-hmm.
They said, well, you real estate agents, if you have it listed and water's used, you're going to have to pay the bill. That's what I was told under previous administration. We've gotten better at working with the city on this, and they're not going to that extreme right now. But at times, this is what we're up against.
So
we're trying to get charged for somebody else's issue.
Would stolen water be considered hot water?
I think it would be. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had to.
Is it clean?
So
I can't touch this water. It's hot.
what we're trying to make sure is we get an ordinance passed that we can live with, not just for today, but 10, 15, 20 years from now, it still works for everybody. The city can do their job on tracking down the problem issues, the owners that they really need to get in touch with.
Well, I'll give you
the rest of us have good properties that we don't have headaches. We're not getting an overzealous city.
I will give you that the city needs to contact. They need to know how to contact owners. I definitely get that. And again, the simple solution to that is tax records, because if an owner doesn't pay the property taxes, then the owner loses the property. So there's got to be some sort of trace there, and that's crossing over into county work, I'm sure, because those are all paid down to the county courthouse. Ms. You know her name,
Doris.
Yeah, Ms. Doris' office. Yeah, that's the one. So sorry, Doris, I was getting there. That's the way it is. So there's that solution. All right, so you don't really need an inspector. You just need somebody that's going to go over and liaison with the county and get all this information.
But so you have somebody who's out of state, and then what do you do?
Yeah, that's
how many of those?
How many are there? Yeah.
I mean, how do you
And when they
tell
have
them?
a real emergency, how fast can we get in touch
That's
with
true.
them? That's what the city is saying. When we've got something like the sewage line is broken, it's
But I'm saying you create this database, but you're not an inspector, so to speak. You're just processing owner's information. So then, I guess, and I can also see the fact that if you have a landlord, I have two properties, and if I have a problem, yes, I fix it. If if it gets reported to me, I get taken care of. That's a good landlord, right? I understand if you are a tenant and you can't get anything done, like you're dumping open sewage in the backyard, that's huge. So I guess I would be careful. I would be concerned about what's going to be the guarantee that the focus of the city government is only going to be those extenuating cases versus, okay, now we've got this power, let's go get them.
we got big government flexing its
That's
muscle.
my concern in this whole process.
That's been everybody's concern.
And we got a caller on the line that may have a question for you. Can you take a question?
Sure.
Good morning, caller. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking my call. I was going to say it is very difficult to get up with property owners if they don't want to be contacted. When you're talking about tax records, the tax records, depending on how the land's registered, if it's an LLC or something, the bare minimum you have to have is just like a PO box.
That's right.
And there's no phone number, there's nothing. And I've been through the process of trying to get in touch with landowners, and man, you have to really be an internet sleuth and track some people down, reverse look up phone numbers and LLCs and track stuff to hopefully get in touch with somebody. And there are tons of properties all over the city that are just in terrible condition, and it's a nuisance. They got huge trees growing on them that are dead. They're falling on the neighbors' places. I know one in particular had a lot of issues, and it's like you can't find the landowner hardly. The tax records, they just know a check shows up once a year to pay the land taxes. They don't have any way to trace where that check comes from.
It's a legitimate issue.
It is an issue, and I understand the idea that you don't want to give the city too much power and they start, but I don't think that's actually where we're at. There's some properties around Meridian that just let turn into just a wasteland, and it's some of our nicest thoroughfares in Meridian, and the landowners that just let, free to let it grow up and turn into a dump, and the city doesn't make them do anything with it. And I think that's actually more of a problem than the fact that the city's going to over-regulate.
Well, and some of those properties you're talking about, just driving around town, you see a property that's way overgrown. Is that a rental property, or is that just an individual?
Right. And so I think that speaks to the bigger problem of just being able to contact the landowner. And as far as making that renter get up with them, now if you could find a way to let the rentee stay there and just tell them, hey, look, stop paying your rent, and we'll get the landlord will get in touch with us, and let that renter stay there free of charge. The guy will get in touch with them. He won't have to, you won't have to go looking for him. He'll come looking for you, in other words.
Well,
what would be taking a system that's already in place? For example, the water department operated by the city. What would be wrong with the fact that yes, the water has to be in the renter's name, but along with that, if you check that box that you are a renter, why not require a space that has owner's contact information on it, and you're done? You've got your own system that you already have in place, collecting the information you're looking for.
That's a good point. The city typically will ask the rent if you're renting or not.
Water gets turned on when you supply us a name and contact, a good phone number for the owner. That's 2 lines on an application. If you want to put the date on there, that's a third line. You're going to have the date on there anyway. So that may just a suggestion.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you for the phone call. Appreciate that. I mean, I'm all for bettering our city. There's no question about that. But this could be, I think, a simpler fix than we're.
What's if we need some sort of system where in order to be a landlord and rent property, you have to register.
Yeah.
And so we have to compel people to do that. If you want to actually, rent your property, then you have to fill out this paperwork and pay a $5 fee or whatever that would be, or even no fee, but just somewhere you have to do that.
We pointed out to them, why charge if you want people to register?
Yeah.
Don't charge. I mean, think about it. I told all the city officials, if I want to file for homestead, I'm not charged for that. Now I pay yearly if I forget to pay. My taxes double. So do it that way. You mentioned an LLC. If I've got 2 different rental property companies, both of them are LLCs. I have to register an LLC with the state of Mississippi now. Yeah, it's been 15 years.
And by the way, one trip to the Secretary of State's website, you can find out who the owner of the LLC is.
But we're not charged to register the LLC, and the yearly annual report we have to do, which is basically just log in, and all they're wanting on their annual report that you have to fill out with the state every year is all contact information for the owners of the LLC.
I thought there was a $50 sign up every year for that. But
nope. It's not a dime.
Wow.
And so,
yeah,
but if you don't do it,
I feel like a real sucker.
Yeah, but if you don't do it, there may be.
Let's take a phone call here. Good morning. You have a question for Steve Corey in relation to the real estate questions.
Well, I was at a meeting, Mr. Corey, the other realtors
Caller, your phone is kind of choppy. I don't know if the government's got you tapped or what, but you try to see if you can find a good connection there.
Well, how about now?
A little bit
better.
Yeah, that is a little bit right there. Go ahead, keep going.
All right. My point is, you have in the city, you have the administration, and then you have the city council. Now, sometimes they work together. Are you hearing me okay now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I've got my sound turned down that I was listening to.
Yeah.
But this meeting showed that the council was almost in total shock in the way that it came up, because it was presented by the administration, by the code enforcement people, and by the community development, which is the department it's in. But it seems to be that, and Mr. Corey can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but it seemed to me that the council was very receptive to not have it making any sort of too quick a decision, and to give time to the realtors and the people from the community development and the code enforcement to get together and work things out before the administration even brought it back for the city council to take up. Does that represent it fairly, Mr. Corey?
Yes, you're talking about the work session that was probably about three to 4 weeks ago. Yes, the city council did say that they realized, hey, the public has not been brought up to speed on this, and so they did delay this. They asked in that same meeting, how long do you think it would take y'all to do these meetings? And being the first meeting we were ever involved in and heard anything of it, several of us mentioned, hey, 3 months, hey, why don't we just wait till January? And that's where they were like, oh no, why can't you do it in 2 weeks? So
who was saying that? City?
That was saying, excuse me, Mr. Corey, who was that represented why can't you do it in 2 weeks?
It may have been one of the city council folks. They didn't say it had to be done in 2 weeks, but somebody said, well, y'all couldn't do this in 2 weeks. Like, we need time. And so that's where we're trying to make sure. And when we left our meeting last week with the code enforcement office and the community development officials, we told them we're going back to our board of realtors here to take them the results of this meeting. And that's where we also recommended, could y'all have some more meetings open to the general public out there who have a lot of rental properties? And they didn't really answer that one. I'm hoping that they are going to announce a meeting open to the general public, to all the property owners out there that aren't realtors. And we did send a follow-up email from our East Mississippi Realtor president that did mention that meeting, try to have one that's open up to other property owners out there. So we're waiting to see. It doesn't look like they're trying to just ram something to the finish line real quick. More meetings hopefully are coming up.
Well, that was my interpretation. I may have missed that question about the 2 weeks, but because it only came from one council person, and a lot of times they don't have their mics on where the audience can even hear. But that was my point. It seemed to be that there were cooler heads prevailing, and I'll get off the line now. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the phone call. We got another caller on the line at 601-485-9111. Good morning, caller. A question for Mr. Corey.
Hey, good morning. Thought I'd come in this morning and ask my question. You want to know what other towns are doing that are kept up and professional looking, and what other towns do? What do they have in place?
The city did say that they had spoken with several other communities. I was going through my papers here, see if I brought that list. There was numerous other ones that they had mentioned had passed rental ordinances. Some of them are probably, it's like any other law. There's probably some that are more restrictive than others. One of the things that we were asking as part of that is, when you do an inspection on a property, what exactly are you looking for? And Terrell Thompson with the code enforcement office. He and I had a very good talk, and I said, it needs to be obvious stuff, like the roof's caved in. You walk in and there's holes in the floor. You got to jump over, or you'd fall through the floor.
Sewer surface.
You have no working toilets.
That's
you open the fuse box and you quickly see everything's wired correctly. Those 4 or 5 things. I mean, that's it. If you're going to say, hey, I'm going to take this property and look for all the current building codes, but this property was built in the 1950s. Well, you might as well just tear the house down and make a rental come up to the current code.
Right.
So he agreed, and they did not want to be overzealous on it, and they haven't provided a very small list, but the city did tell us that they're only going to be going to look at the obvious problems.
Okay. All right. Does that answer your question there, Mr. Caller?
Oh, yeah, to some degree.
Some degree.
I don't have the list of other communities.
I hope y'all don't have a timeline for that to happen on, because from what my experience with the city, there's no fire under anybody's butt.
Well, as far as
we have it on good authority. There is no fire under the butts of the city council or the administration.
And it is very obvious when you try to get something done. I can tell you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sir, I hope you.
Negative, but it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Just like Walter Contact says.
All right. Good to hear you, Lefty. Good to hear you.
I appreciate it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, thank you. Curious George or Lefty or whatever.
People will tell you that. I'm just going to tell you. So I know you're curious, and you got to have a number.
Very good.
Anyway. Y'all have a good one. I'm listening.
Thank you. Right. Appreciate the phone call. And we want to say a big thank you to, some good folks up the road there in Philadelphia. I'm talking about Doc's Toyota.
That's right. Just up the road on Highway 16 West in Philadelphia is where you'll find Doc's Toyota. They've got all kinds of 2024 Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Tundras, Highlanders, Corollas, Priuses, 3i, and of course the new Land Cruisers, pretty sharp. And they have a very large, some might say, pre-owned inventory, all been through the rigorous multi-point Toyota inspection process, so you're getting a good quality used vehicle. You can check them out online, docstoyota.com. You can purchase a vehicle online. How cool is that? Or just take that short trip up to Philadelphia and see them on Highway 16 West. Every dealership has a deal. We can get a toaster, an air fryer, $100. Who knows what you get? Maybe a free pen. Who needs that sort of stuff? Well, I'll tell you what, there is no deal like a Doc's deal.
That's exactly right. All right, we're visiting this morning on this Wednesday, the Real Estate Wednesday, talking about the proposal from the city about an inspector for rental properties, and trying to solve the problem of how do you get in touch with the landlords and all these things. The expert on this, Steve Corey, Pickford and Corey Realtor, will be right back. Stay tuned. I'm Roger. Rob is here. Charles, you just heard him talk about Doc's Toyota. So we're all here. We'll be right back. Don't go Back. It's the second. Well, we're deep into the second hour already. We went to the Fox break. Interesting discussion going on here about real estate here in Meridian. The city of Meridian proposing an ordinance that would allow inspection of rental properties, and has a lot of implications. And here to kind of help us sort that out, we've been visiting with Steve Corey of Pickford and Corey Realtors, so we're going to get back to that in just a moment. First, I'm Roger, and Rob's in the house. There is Charles Frazier.
Yeah, I'm
He's
here,
right
dude.
there.
I'm right here.
And he's going to tell you that even Tuscaloosa Ted, when he's coming through town, likes to stop by the Magnolia Restaurant.
Watch your mouth.
Oh,
We got a lot to talk about later.
Oh, boy.
Even when Tuscaloosa Ted comes to town, he likes to stop at the Magnolia
That's
Restaurant.
right. Anchor down. Okay.
Am I right?
Oh,
Watch your mouth.
okay.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth and watch it eat all that great food at the Queen City Truck Stop at Magnolia Restaurant. Of course, today is Wednesday. We got chicken and dumplings, hamburger steak, onion and gravy, and of course, they got the fried and grilled pork chops and the chicken tenders. They always get the veggie plate. Rob's personal favorite, the Biggie Burger. How big is it, Rob? Yeah, it's the humongous hamburger, which, it's easier to say Biggie Burger.
2 meals in one.
Or 3. And of course, they got the long haul breakfast as well. If you're a long haul truck driver, keep going. I'm in, I'm out.
You're good. You're
okay.
You're
Hello. All right, Bueller. That thing will keep you going all day long, even if you're not a long haul truck driver. That's a great breakfast. Now, what you need to do is, if you're in your office, you want some food, call this number 614-822-0259. There's something to go. By the time you get up there, the exit 150 and the Magnolia Restaurant is hot and ready for you to consume. That is, and then you just bring it back to your office or eat it there. Either way. But the service is friendly. The air conditioner is cool. The coffee is hot. You just can't beat it at the Magnolia Restaurant inside the Queen City Truck Stop. 614-822-0259, exit 150.
And what are the hours of that restaurant? Where
we see here, not listed.
I want to make sure I don't want to show up
when they close.
24 hours, 7 days a week.
There you Ted knows.
Ted knows.
Ted knows.
If you want to ask somebody, just ask Ted. All right, it's mornings in Meridian. We're having a good discussion here. Steve Corey from Pickford and Corey Realtors. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We're talking about the kind of review again what the city is attempting to propose, and then what you propose we and our listeners do about it.
Well, the city is working on passing a rental ordinance on rental properties, and the first part of it is they're wanting to require all property owners who are leasing their properties to, and these are residential rentals, to register them with the city so they have contact information for the owners. So if there's an issue, they can get in touch with them in a timely manner. But it does, the city already has rules on the books they can inspect, for health issues,
right?
Code enforcement issues, stuff like that. They do restate a lot of it in the ordinance. They have the right to inspect. And one of the things that we were pointing out to them, well, if it's already on the books, why do you got to add all this fluff? Just doing the ordinance on house registry, end it there. That's what we would like to see.
In other words, find out where the owners are, period.
And then if you already got everything on the books that says you can go inspect, then why are you having to write all this verbiage saying that you can inspect, blah, blah, blah. That's what everybody's worried about is what else are they going to try to do.
Kind of creeping intrusion.
But they do have the right to inspect. Now, in the meeting, me and 4 or 5 other realtor brokers were at with the city's community development office and code enforcement office was that city officials said right off, have any of you guys ever been contacted us about one of your rental properties? And everybody said no. And they said, well, you're probably not going to get contacted in the future. We're looking at bad property, ones that obviously when we do a drive-by view of them and a roof is falling in, the yard's so grown over you can't see the house. Those are the ones that are then going to be raising the red flags for the city. Hey, we need to go inspect this. So if you got a good property, the meeting we were at, it doesn't sound like you have a problem.
All right, we've got a caller on the line who might have a question, so let's go there right now. Our number, by the way, if you have a question regarding this or any other thing, you can call 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. You have a comment about this proposal?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Doing well, thank you.
All right. Mr. Corey, thanks for coming in and bringing this to the light of the public. Just to get the big picture, if I understand correctly, these are unelected bureaucrats proposing a tax increase for the investors.
I mean, you and I probably get along just fine off microphone. But yes, the city departments that are getting inundated every day with problem properties that are falling apart that need to be looked at. They need a way to contact the owners out there.
Okay.
The individuals that own properties, I've heard from several, and it sounds like you may be one of them, is that why are they treating my property more stringently than the owner occupant next door or across the street that's falling apart, and mine's way better than that. That's what we're hearing from a lot of the investors out there, that this is how they're making a living. Why are they going to treat really scrutinize mine when my rental properties are the best ones in the street?
Right. And as I understand it, the ones that are falling apart, are they mostly HUD or Section 8 housing? I would assume they would be.
I have no idea. HUD is very strict. I've got one property through HUD that I've leased the last couple times, and I just did an annual inspection with HUD, and their inspector was very thorough, and they point out some things that, some of the regulations changed since the first inspection that I had, and I'm like, great, I got to go and fix this and fix this.
Right.
And that's what we're worried with.
Here's the long drive to the small house. So there's already a process in place for inspection.
That's right.
For a lot of the lower income housing. So this is just another bureaucratic process for red tape. Now, I do have some rentals. My wife and I, we've had them for about 15 years now. Our business model is a little different. But just for one of the issues we just had with the water department, it took me over 4 weeks, 2 phone calls from the neighbor to get a water leak fixed. So if the city's worried about, stolen water, they don't seem too worried about it when they need to go fix something, So to put a little pencil to the bar napkin map here, our business model is a 3-2 2-car garage, 12 to 1,400 square feet. And so basically with 3 types of tax bills that you get, one's going to be primary resident homestead, right? And then that can be subdivided into over 65. So over 65 primary resident homestead, under 65 homestead, and then an investor. So speaking from past experience, my parents lived in a property that was across the street where we live, in that neighborhood. Their tax bill was $450. All right. As a primary resident, young couple starting out, young kids, that tax bill was $1,700. It's a $1,250 increase. That same property that we still have it as an investment property. Nothing's changed. We didn't add on a new thing. Same square footage. $3,200.
Right. You're
which
paying
is a $1,500 tax increase on top of the $1,250. So from an over 65 resident versus an investor, it goes from $450 to $3,200. That's $2,750 difference.
Absolutely.
600% increase in the same house, same square footage.
In our hour and 45-minute meeting, several of us real estate brokers had with the community development office last week, it was stated over and over and over all the overhead.
We might have a guest speaker here on this. Right?
Yes. Hey, I'm ready to roll. The school board today loaned the bad idea teams over to the unelected bureaucrats, city planners.
But we did communicate to them in no uncertain terms all the ways we are taxed and all the expenses that rental property owners are up against, with insurances that are doubling and taxes that just went up with the city and the county.
In other words, you're not just getting rich because you have rental property.
No, and the what a lot of people say, oh, don't worry about it. You just can pass that along to the tenant. There's only so much you can pass on to the tenant before you start pricing yourself out of the rental market, or having more downtime, between tenants. And so, it all comes back. And so and some people may be tempted to just start selling some of them off. Like I said earlier, I know somebody that has probably over 100. His words to me when I was showing him the proposed ordinance, well, if this gets to be too intrusive, I'll just sell all mine off. I'll put my money in the stock market. I don't need the headache. Well, there goes 100 properties off the rental list, potentially, and we got no houses available.
Let me interject this.
And this is what absolutely good point, Mr. Caller. If the city, every house they lose off the rental list that goes to owner occupancy,
yes, sir,
that's 50%, almost 50%. Let's just say they're under 65, though. That's about a 50% tax reduction they're going to bring in.
No, I think we'll just target over 65 couples to put in our rentals. For easy math, you say you have 20 rentals, and you go from an investment income of $3,200 tax income to $450 tax income. That's a $2,750 per property times 20. That's a good chunk of change, almost $50,000 that you just cut off your tax bill from a small time.
All right, good.
You're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. That's the
stepping over dollars, pick up pennies. I like it. Good call. Thank you.
Appreciate the topic. Thanks for getting it out into the public. I'm looking forward to the meeting.
And he did mention the Craig hit and all the people that we met with in the community development and code enforcement last week. We recommended that they have a public meeting to get folks like the caller, who's probably doing all his stuff himself, not doing real estate agent, and get those people out there because there's more properties out there that are not going through the Meridian Board of Realtors than East Mississippi Realtors, and that are being done individually by owners out there. And the city needs to hear from them. The city needs anybody that's listening. If you got rental property, the city needs to hear from you. We told them we wanted them to have a meeting with everybody out there to get everybody's input, and they did not just jump on and agree to that. We were told, tell them to call us. So call Craig Hitt, call code enforcement, ask them when there is going to be a meeting so you can hear and get your own answer.
And do you need to be aware of this if you're an apartment complex? Like, for example, we have a lot of large apartments.
Yes.
Is this going to be
all rentals? I understand.
Okay, so attention, just because you have a lot of properties conglomerated together in an apartment complex doesn't mean that you're out of this purview, so to speak.
Now,
all right, we got about 2 minutes left.
A couple of good things we heard was that if you're not having problems now with the city, you're not going to have them, is what the city told us. They're not going to be coming after yours, but they are going to do a drive-by inspection. And if your house is all growed over and you got tarps all over the roof, looks like the roof's caving in,
that's a problem.
They're going to come inspect it.
Sure.
I mean,
and they can do that now without any ordinance whatsoever. Yeah.
So isn't it really the tenant's responsibility to compel the landlord to say, hey, why don't we have like a 1-800 number where they call and complain and say, my roof's falling in, or whatever that is, or they move, because they're obviously it's a breach of even if they have a lease. Who knows?
But a good lease should have all the tenants' contact information and the owner's contact information. But there's a lot of bad landlords out there, like the city is saying, live out of state, that they're just doing property, right? And the city's trying to make these small properties, keep them up, or get them shut down if they're falling apart. And that's what the goal is. And hopefully more meetings will happen. But if you want more information, call the city's community development office, ask for Craig Hitt, ask for anybody there that'll talk to you, and find your answers out. Because once it's passed, we're not going to unpass it.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Steve, Corey, thank you for bringing this to our attention today. And yes, contact us if you find out when the next meeting is. Call Craig Hitt's office and say, hey, we need to have information, or you want to put your input in, this kind of thing. And don't know. It's kind of funny. He used to come by the office here, the studio, quite often when he was working for the Kemper County. Now we don't hear much from Craig here. We need to see if we can find him and bring him back in the studio. Craig, where are you at? Where are you hiding, fella? All right. Thank you, Steve, Corey. Thank you for talking to us. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
And we will take a break. We'll be back with more of Mornings in Meridian. Kind of an interesting dynamic that Rob brought out that's going on inside politics. And we're going to have a little bit of highlight on that when we come back. It's Mornings in Meridian, Fox News, right here.
I miss him so much.
I know. Good old Toby. Heard that song yesterday on our sister station, 105.7. The Legend.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that song before.
Toby Keith should have been a cowboy. You have to listen to country music to hear that. Yeah. And we're in the radio business, so we know. And I like him.
Okay.
So I've heard
Well,
that.
that kind of country music.
Yes, real country. Rapping with a southern accent. Country. That's right. Anyway, glad you're out there, folks. You can hear that on our sister station, 105.7. Also, you want to hear classic hits, we have a sister station for that. That's 97.9. The Buzz. Good job. And in the meantime, we want to thank our good folks up the road at Trucker Supply, Highway 19 next to McDonald's. You just go right to Trucker Supply, and I dare you to go in there and not find something you want or need.
A double dog dare.
I know it.
Yes, indeed. One-stop shop for all your tools. Got a full room of Milwaukee tools.
Everywhere. Milwaukee.
Everything they need.
Milwaukee.
It's all Milwaukee, all made in the state of Mississippi. So, you're buying local in a way.
Sure.
Yeah, you are. Made right here.
Milwaukee, Mississippi.
Milwaukee, Mississippi. Is that a thing?
It's inside the Queen City Trucks. I mean, the
well, they've got everything Milwaukee that you need: the saws, drills, impact drills, sanders, grinders, cutters, routers, grease guns, and more. I like the and more part. A lot of those have those interchangeable batteries as well. And of course, they've got Yeti. Make it a Yeti Christmas. 76 days Christmas. You realize that? Yes, the clock is ticking. Get up there, get something nice. Start your Christmas shopping now. Go see them at Trucker Supply. And of course, they've got healthy pressure washers too, the best that are made. Trucker Supply, one-stop shop for all your tools. 519 Highway 19 South. Go see them.
Rob, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes.
If I were had a rental property, for example, and it needed a new roof on it, would you have a recommendation of someone that I could call and get a roof on my home?
Doug and Stacy.
Doug and Stacy?
Yeah, Doug and Stacy.
That's Martin Roofing, I think, right there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Doug Martin, good fella, fine folks, and I'll tell you right now, they just good people to put a roof on your home.
That's right, they are. 614-520. They'll come by and inspect your roof for damage and give you a free estimate.
Yeah. That
is exactly right. Doug. Well, just Doug. And Stacy, of course. And they've been in roofing business for over 30 years. Locally owned and operated. Licensed in the state of Mississippi. They take pride in staying behind their work. Start through cleanup. I mean cleanup.
I like people take pride.
Yes. Like they were never there. Except for you got a brand new roof in South Lake. They take a lot of pride in their roof. 601-485-5920. We'll get you in touch with them. That's Martin Roofing.
We're going to get into politics that a hurricane can bring during election year, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But a caller on the line. Let's go to the phones. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Welcome.
I guess you could classify this call as a public service announcement.
The PSA. Good deal. Come on in.
Okay. First of all, I want to applaud anybody who has volunteered their time to go to any of these places that's been devastated by the hurricane.
There you go.
But then there are a lot of people that can't go up there.
Right.
But they can give, and they want to give.
Yep.
But they need to be very, very careful about who they give to.
Sure.
Because as with any natural disaster, there are a lot of crooks that are taking advantage of it.
Isn't that sad?
And myself, I'm giving through the Mississippi Baptist Convention Board.
Okay.
Because they have disaster relief, and any money that you designate for disaster relief, every penny of it goes to disaster relief. As long as you designate it disaster relief, every penny goes to that disaster relief. That's who I'm giving through.
Okay.
And American Purses up there, which is part of Franklin Graham, Billy Graham.
Yeah.
That would be somebody you could trust.
Yeah. Sure.
But be very careful who you give your money to.
Absolutely.
What was it, Clay?
Right?
Very
Thanks,
good.
sir.
Well, good PSA. You sound like a Baptist preacher. Are you a preacher?
No.
No. Well, you just sound a little bit like you got that cadence there.
Pass the offering, hymn 187. Here we go.
That's right.
Yeah. Pass it again, we didn't get enough.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's right.
Lock the doors of the church until we raise him.
You talking to a preacher's kid right here from a Baptist
Ooh,
church.
there you go. Hey, good call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Well,
No.
Well, and I will piggyback off of what he said about Samaritan's Purse. They Sarah Carden for Fox News, who has been on the ground there in Asheville and all points in between there. She actually would have been working on the ground there just tirelessly over the last couple of weeks. And they immediately said Samaritan's Purse was first on the ground. They are still there working hard. And Franklin Graham, that's a fantastic organization. But yeah, I have to agree with the caller. It's sad you have to vet a lot of this now because there's so many people that say, "Oh, we're out there to help folks," but they're really not in it for the right reasons. So,
Sure.
Very good point. Speaking of not being in it for the right reasons, this is actually a good setup for our next segment there.
Yeah.
Now, this is some audio you've heard probably on national outlets, but it's just an interesting dynamic, and we want to take you through it step by step. So, this first audio of the vice president there, Rob.
Yeah, MSNBC was actually on the tarmac there as Harris was out campaigning, and of course wouldn't say campaigning, she's been doing a media blitz, soft media blitz, if you want to go that way. But she was asked about the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, not returning her phone calls.
All right, and this is on the tarmac there at Joint Base Andrews, and this might be actually CNN talking here.
Okay,
Let's see if it's the right one.
Hello.
DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
And help. How does that hurt the situation here?
Moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside. First, people are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games in this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations. It's just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do.
Oh, doing the job you took an oath to do. Okay, that's interesting. Governor DeSantis, what say you?
Sources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the president of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got people whose lives are on the line. I've got people whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games. And so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
Oh, go Ron, go Ron, go Ron.
Like it.
Oh,
Good response. Good response.
And of course, it might be best to maybe President Biden has an opinion about what kind of job Ron DeSantis is doing. I'm just thinking maybe he does. Oh,
it's getting there.
Wait for it.
Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, whatever. I said, no, you're doing a great job. You know, you've done well. Thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing.
Okay. All right. Now, with those sound bites, tell me about what's the dynamic there.
Well, let me ask you, was Biden's response, when was that? Yesterday?
That was yesterday.
Okay, so that was about specifically Milton, which is what they were talking about.
Right.
It sounded like it could have been also to do with Lane.
But he did bring in all the other governors from the previous, the previous storm.
But sure sounds like Biden's well aware of what Kamala has said and is undermined.
And that's the point here. I got two things to bring up on this. If you notice when Kamala Harris has any kind of a speaking engagement on the campaign trail here lately, this has been over the last 3 or 4 days, or during this soft interview media blitz, minus 60 minutes, by the way, he did this yesterday while she is on the View to take away from what she is doing. He has done this in the past. Like he was at the podium last week with Karine Jean-Pierre for the first time ever since he has been president in the briefing room, taking questions, and CNN, MSNBC, all of the so-called media broke away from her campaign rally like, oh, President Biden is taking questions. We need to go to this. Taking the show away from her and putting it back on himself because he's upset. He's butthurt over what happened with him being pushed away.
No, I'm looking that up.
Butthurt.
Yeah,
It's like
the Oxford Dictionary.
Oh, okay.
But Clay Travis brought up a good point yesterday. I know there was a lot of shouting there at Biden, trying to get questions in or whatnot. But Clay Travis brought up a good point yesterday. Biden sat there for just a second because he wanted that question. What's the cooperation been like with Florida? And he took that one question. You can hear it right there at the tail end, right before he answered it. I think he was wanting to answer that question the way he did yesterday. So here there has been cooperation. Me and DeSantis are talking. We always hear it. It's like, oh, that's a bad look.
All right, let's talk about the message then. The message is the primary voted candidate for the Democrat Party, Joe Biden, sending out a message that the governor of Florida, Republican, a challenger to his office at one point, says he's doing a good job, even gave him his personal number so he can contact him. In other words, he's taking care of the matter at hand. At the same time, he's suggesting to the party, I have been done dirty.
And also that was a message to Harris to stay out of it.
There you go.
You are not the president right now. You are trying to act like you're the president because it's politically expedient for you right now because of our failure to the folks up in North Carolina and other parts by us dropping the ball on federal assistance there.
She was almost making it sound like that DeSantis was just holding the administration at arm's length when it was just her, not the President Biden.
And if you notice what he said there, guys, he says, I've never talked to her once when we've had storms in the past. It's always been the president and FEMA. I've talked to two presidents, both Trump and Biden.
Good stuff. All right, 601. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the other thing that is being ignored here is Biden seems a lot more competent than he has in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's sort of a resurgent Biden in a way. I mean, answering questions, he's speaking coherently. I mean, complete sentences.
Yay!
Woo! Yeah, it's exciting. But I mean, it's sort of a different face of Biden. It's sort of the old Biden back again. So it's very odd in the whole sequence of things. But anyway, that's just my observation.
Interesting. Very politics and storms. There's a storm coming, and it's not just Milton. Mornings at Meridian, let's say 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. I enjoyed your real estate guest.
Thank you. Thank you for checking in with us on that, and thanks for listening.
Well, I wanted to add that I heard someone talk about the location of the proprietors. I suppose they are owners of things that they could go to would take the LLC and get that information from the Secretary of State's office.
You can do that, yes.
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't?
No.
I've been able to go. Well,
Both, right?
I've looked up LLCs before and found out who the managers are of those LLCs.
Well, that may be true. I too have done that on my behalf.
Yeah.
That's when the city started this Sand Flat Training Center 3I that had a membership of Bill Skaggs, late Bill Skaggs, late Bill Reedy, and Bunky Partridge. And one of the things that between then and now that was noticed, and I had that copy.
Yeah.
For example, Bill Reedy was listed as for Reedy, but that was all that was on there. Marysville, the first option on the land bill at Loblolly. You find some office in Jackson, maybe some lawyers registered them. There's a lot that's obscure, and I don't think it is the best policy that the legislature has regulated for that site, for that LLC registration.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, it doesn't mean everyone wants to be obscure, and
Right.
I'll grant you that.
Yeah. That's a good point. But
And in the meantime, I'll have a pantsuit and 2 large word salads to go.
Yeah. With extra dressing.
Must be honey mustard, I guess. All right.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you. I'll have a pantsuit and a brown one at that. I'm not sure why that colors. That seems to be your color.
She had some tough interviews yesterday.
Did she? Some tough
Yeah,
interviews?
she was on Howard Stern yesterday.
Oh, she raked her over the coals.
She had a tough beer on the air last night with Stephen Colbert. Yeah, they shared a beer last night. So, yeah, it was just,
But they had their own. They didn't share one.
You know, I mean,
they
didn't have enough vaccines.
Bud Light.
Drank the champagne.
I love the way always have like Ron DeSantis. Love me some Ron DeSantis, and of course, he's been an excellent governor of the state of Florida, and I think he'd make a great president of the United States too. Just saying. Let's see.
He doesn't wear pantsuits.
J.D. Vance.
I don't want to see him.
But J.D. Vance also able to keep up with the rhetoric and also the questions, the tough questions, and put people in their place in a very polite way.
That could be your next ticket.
What's that? DeSantis Vance?
Or maybe vice versa.
Ooh. Hey. Wouldn't that be sweet? All right. Well, 601. We'll take a quick break. If you have a question, 601-485-9191. We'll get right back here and don't go away. Mornings of Meridian is it's great to be back. I guess I do kind of miss it when I'm away.
Did we miss him?
I doubt it. Oh, yeah. Don't cry anymore. Especially if you've been in a car accident and your car's all bent up or you've had a nick and ding. You don't have to cry about it. Just call Premier Paint and Body Shop. Welcome back, folks. Good mornings in Meridian.
That is exactly right. 482 to paint.
Paint.
Paint. That's easy to remember. And of course, Premier Paint and Body providing the best auto body work and quality paint jobs for over 30 years.
30 years.
Conveniently located right in Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North, open 85 Monday to Friday. No job is too small, whether it's a ding, a dent, a scratch, or too large. They will give you a free estimate and work with your insurance company. Of course, all of their work has a lifetime warranty. The results, like new. It's like having a brand new.
I think I'm going to wreck my car.
I think you should. Well, no, don't do that.
So I can, there's that.
Just go down and see him anyway. Get a cup of coffee. Hang with the guys. Go see him. 85 Monday through Friday, 601-482 Paint. And of course, as I said, conveniently located right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North. If you have a little fender bender and you need to tell the tow truck where to go, you tell them Premier Paint and Body.
All righty. That's right. Just keep that on your short dial. That way you don't have to worry about it when they ask you, where do you want your car taken? Because they'll take it anywhere. I mean,
you want the Premier Paint? You want the Premier place in town? Oh, here we go.
Tuscaloosa Ted's.
After that car wreck of a game.
I got some paint left in me. We'll go outside.
The anchor down, dropped under your head.
You're talking about the team that Vanderbilt?
I'll drop a dead gum anchor over your head, boy. You better watch your mouth.
We got a caller on the line. Let's see if we can get this call in here. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
I just let you have to call in one more time. I had a comment about the president.
Yes, sir, Lucky. I mean, Lefty.
Here it is.
Okay, Lefty.
Oh. That's the comment.
Okay. All right. Is that your Biden impersonation?
That's not true. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, sounds like we need another bowl of Lucky Charms there. Go ahead and have some more there, sir. All right.
They're magically delicious.
Magically delicious. Speeding toward 9 o'clock, of course, that's when our show ends, and that's when Glenn Beck comes in here shortly after Fox News. And of course, tomorrow we should hear from Naval Air Station Meridian.
Next week.
Is it next week?
Yeah.
Am I messing up here already? Good.
Yeah, Penny,
all day.
Penny's got a wedding this week. She's got I think it's her daughter's wedding. So that's important. Yeah, so she'll be back next week.
I like this. If you come on at Ron DeSantis or Rob, don't bring a knife, bring a gun. Better bring a gun. There you go. Not bring a knife to a gunfight, I guess.
Oh, is that me?
No, that was a question to somebody about Ron DeSantis. Don't come at him. Either come at you or at Ron DeSantis. To come to a knife fight without a gun, I guess. I don't know.
And I'm not a fighter.
I don't know.
That's right.
Make love, not war. There you
That's
go.
exactly right.
Taught him well.
A lot more fun.
All right. Hey, that's it. My wayward children, it's time to take a break for about 22 hours. We'll come back tomorrow morning. Until then, folks, have a wonderful day. God bless. And
local.
Please.